Terrence Ruffin actually put on his story saying there's a guy in the top 10 that's actually natural, believe it or not. And then it came out somehow that maybe it's you.
Yeah, so let's address it. And so I kind of figured this topic would come up.
What's up, Desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and today I'm joined by the winner of the 2020 Tampa Pro in Classic Physique and top 10 finisher in his debut, Mr. Olympia. I'm pleased to welcome Deontrai Campbell to Desktop Bodybuilding. Mate, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you having me on. Excited about this. I watch a lot of your videos, so yeah, I'm happy to be a part of your journey as well. So yeah.
I appreciate it, man. And I saw your Instagram live the other day, and I saw that go up and asked that question. And I thought, hey, can I get you on for an interview? Because you're a guy I've seen before. And as soon as I saw you do that Tampa Pro, it might have even been some of the lead-up photos ahead of that Tampa Pro. I sort of started to see some sort of come out, I think, of your camp. And I was like, this dude is looking really, really good. Now, something I found out about you is that you're like super religious, which is something that you don't always see a lot from a lot of bodybuilders and stuff. And your nickname's actually Holy Hulk. And even on the end of your Instagram live, I think it was, you did like a little prayer and stuff like that. So how much, I suppose, does that weigh into your day-to-day life, your religion?
Oh man, it's priority. It's number one. It's how I start my day, how I try to go about my day. Honestly, how I try to live my life is the foundation. That's what has helped me continue to go along this journey with bodybuilding. And honestly, bodybuilding has helped me in my faith walk as well. So been truly blessed, man. The life I was living, I don't want to get into it. Just out here partying, all kinds of stupid stuff. Was saved by grace, you know, and found Christ. And around the same time, I actually started getting into bodybuilding. So I, used both of those together to strengthen each other. And now I'm using bodybuilding to, help other men in that area as well, in that ministry. So bodybuilding has been a platform that I've been able to use with my faith as well. So yeah, it's priority foundation.
Absolutely. And I think that's really cool. And you actually made a point as well, saying that you don't try to push it on anyone. You display what has helped you, and then you don't push it on to anyone. Because I do know some people actually in my sort of like family or like circle that sometimes are a little pushy with it. And I'm not someone that practices religion or anything like that. I don't know really what I believe in exactly, but it's cool the way you go about things with that, because we know there's some people that don't talk about it. There's people that do talk about it, like yourself, and there's people that push. And I think you're in that sort of that nice happy medium, and you don't actually push on people.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
You had a massive 2020. So you made your pro debut. You won that in Tampa. You made your Olympia debut. You placed top 10 in Classic Physique in what was a very, very deep Classic Physique lineup. I mean, that whole top 10, I was saying going into it with my co-host on the weekly bodybuilding breakdown, Michael Galley, I was like, there is about 12 guys you could say they could be in the top 3 or top 5. It's that stacked. And you were one of those guys that I factored in. I'm not sure what I actually predicted you to come. I know I predicted you in the top 10. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And you finished 10th place, obviously. How do you feel about the look you brought, obviously, to Tampa and the Olympia? And how do you feel about your placing at the Olympia?
So the look that I brought to Tampa, I was highly disappointed in. And I say that even though we won, I do know that I've looked better, I guess I should say, at previous shows. I felt like I was holding a lot of water. Conditioning was there, but just something happened at the end where I've even, looked back at pictures 2 weeks before the show or me being on stage. I looked even better. So something happened with the peak week where I just didn't really care for that look, because I knew I could have looked a lot better. So I'm not downplaying the win or anything, but I'm happy. Clearly, I'm happy we came out with the win, which qualified us for the Olympia. Now, I made some changes from Tampa to the Olympia with coaches. I am currently with Cement Factory, AJ.
Oh yeah.
And it's been awesome. It's been awesome. I love how we connect. I mean, I'm not knocking any other coaches that I've ever had, but the connection is just there, you know, with AJ. So that was our first show, and I felt like we did really well. But he's still learning my body. So when it comes to peaking and I'm having things in my mind what I'm used to eating before peak week, and he has his protocol. So I did a lot of, you know, questioning of him, you know, asking, hey, do you think we should be doing this and all that? So at one point he was like, look, man, you need to just be a robot and listen to everything I say and just go with it. So I did. We brought a good package, but I do believe with this structured off season, this is my first ever structured off season. I believe it's going to be an amazing showing for my next whatever. I don't know what show we're going to do. We're looking, clearly everything is down the road, but yeah, I think we're just going to get better now that he knows my body. We've done a show together, so yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you carry a lot of muscle on your frame as well, so you got quite a big frame. What are you, 5'9", I think it is?
I am 5'9.5".
And a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that extra half allow you to add a little bit more weight, or is it just almost like a disadvantage being that half-inch taller?
It's actually a disadvantage. It doesn't, it's from 5'9" to 5'10". So it doesn't really matter with me being, you know, half or whatever. So yeah. I do wish God would have blessed me with that extra half. Now my weight would have been able to be a little bit more, because clearly I'm on the heavier side of Classic, where I'm just at that mark of my cutoff. So
have you ever used like an inversion table or anything like that to actually try to get like decompress your spine a little bit so you can actually weigh in, not weigh in, but measure in a little bit taller maybe?
Never even heard of that. No.
Yeah,
no,
I think Chris Bumstead was actually looking at that, I think, and he bought an inversion table to maybe get a little bit more height. So maybe that's something you can look at, because he's been measuring in, I think, a little bit taller at some recent shows. And I don't think he's started using it yet, but if he starts using it, then he's easily going to get that extra 10 pounds or whatever. So that might be something for you. Because I think if you can get an extra 10 pounds on stage, I think it's an extra 10 pounds per inch or something like that. That's a huge difference you can make to your physique.
Huh, I might have to look into that. I've never even thought about that.
Yeah, well, if you win the Olympia, you've got me to thank, so.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're actually, you know, maxing out the weight currently, aren't you? All very close to it?
I'm very close to it. Actually, so Tampa Pro, I weighed in right at, so my cutoff is 207 pounds. And at Tampa Pro, we weighed in right at 207. I was actually really worried about that leading into the show. And then I weighed the Olympia 205.6 or something.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we dropped, and I looked better. I was drier, of course. I do believe, like I said, I was holding a little bit more water with Tampa. So that was where those few extra pounds, I believe, came. But I looked bigger with the Olympia as well. And it's almost every show that I've done where I cut even more weight and looked even bigger on stage. So yeah, we're just at that cutoff mark. And with this structured off season, I do believe we're going to keep on going down. I don't know. It's just amazing. We're going to go down on weight and probably look even bigger on stage again.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, before we get into maybe some of the obvious questions and the question that everyone wants me to ask you, I want to find out, you mentioned you don't want to go too deep into, I suppose, like, you know, your past or whatever, but how did you actually get into bodybuilding and what led you to it?
So I never wanted to be a bodybuilder. I never thought about being a bodybuilder. I was one of those guys that was an athlete, average athlete, wanting to make it to the NFL. So I've always been active in the gym, working out, and I, like I said, not to get too deep into it, but I've always grown muscle like really easy. We're to the point where my college football coach was like, hey, you need to stop lifting because you're not a bodybuilder. You need to continue to be fast. So it was right after the military. I believe I was around 25, 26 years old. I got out and went back to the gym and started lifting just because I needed something to help me. That was my outlet. And then a couple of guys would always tell me, hey, you need to do a bodybuilding show. And I'm like, no, I would never do a body show. No, why would I go out on stage in those trunks? Like, I don't want to do it. Then I remember the guy was like, no, you don't, it's not that bad. Just try it out. So I actually asked him if I should do men's physique. And he laughed at me. He was like, no, your frame is just, clearly I knew nothing about bodybuilding like that. So he said he'll coach me. This is the same year of me getting out of the military. So I prepped for about 3 months, went into my first local show and won the whole thing. Each category, won overall. And then after that, I was like, hey, I can do this bodybuilding thing. The dieting sucks. I love food, but I love being able to see how far I can push myself and just being disciplined. So yeah.
Man, you've definitely done it well so far, obviously early in your career. How many shows have you done total now? Because you've only done 2 pro shows and it was the Olympia Top 10 and winning the Tampa Pro. So how many shows total?
I think the Olympia was my 6th show. So yeah.
That's crazy, man, because I'm a year younger than you and I've done, I don't know how many shows I've done, but it's like 20. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
And I'm obviously still an amateur. I almost got my men's physique pro card, but hopefully in the future, man, so I can, whenever these borders open, I can come over and hang out with you guys and maybe try to be a pro, but obviously on a much lower level. So that'd be cool. But you're obviously a father as well. You've got a daughter. So how does that, I suppose, factor into your bodybuilding? Because I know myself, being a father of 2 young kids, it's pretty hectic. So how does, I suppose, that change things for you being a dad?
It can be difficult. Definitely when you're prepping and you see your child not eating their food and leaving all kinds of food on, or they're having all kinds of snacks or they're wanting to eat your prep food. No, but it can be difficult. Just finding the right balance. I have a lot of men actually ask me, how do I balance everything? Well, first off, I wake up super early, try to get my workout in. Actually, here soon, I'm going to get my workout in before the family wakes up, and just try to find that balance with having a family, having kids, but at the same time, it's rewarding as well. I would never change anything with having a family. And I'm always reminded by people, you don't see a lot of the top athletes in the who step on the Olympia stage with families and all that, because it's, you allow, a lot of people allow bodybuilding to consume them, which, I mean, I love bodybuilding. I love the sport, and I, love to make a career out of it. But family just ultimately comes first when it comes, just this whole thing. So bodybuilding can slip away tomorrow, and as long as I still have my family. Now, if my family slipped away because of bodybuilding, I'd be, probably go down a depression, or something. So yeah, that's who I actually, that's my motivation too, to continue to go down this journey of bodybuilding and make a career out of it. So yeah, I love it, and it can have its difficult times, but that's anything in this life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can understand that, man, having 2 young kids myself, and anyone that I look at that's, achieving and doing well at the Olympia, especially, obviously, because it's in the field that I'm interested in, and they've got, a few kids, 1 kid, 2 kids, however many kids, it's not ever easy. I have instant respect, because you only really get it when you become a parent and actually do it yourself. Because I always thought that would be hard. but you don't really understand the concept of it until you're actually in it, especially with young children. That's just, it's craziness. So I totally understand where you're coming from, man. And
yeah,
it's amazing that you're achieving at your level and stuff. But like you said, it's an extra bit of motivation as well. So does that carry into other parts of your life, not just bodybuilding, but also business as well?
Sorry, say that again.
Does that carry over not just in bodybuilding, but also in business in terms of that being that motivation, having a child?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I'm currently, you know, this is Campus Muscle. It's my brand, and it's something that once I got into bodybuilding, and definitely once I had the little one, it has motivated me to even work harder in that area. Because not to knock anybody with the 9 to 5, you know, being able to have that freedom of being a business owner, being there for your family, and then I don't know, it motivates the crap out of me to continue to work hard and build that foundation for my family, for my little one. And yeah, it's just so much added extra motivation to let her see her father work hard, because I unfortunately didn't really have that growing up, but I just, you know, changed those generational curses and allow her to see that, you know, you work hard for something, and you know, you achieve something in life. Well, you can achieve anything as you work hard for it. So yeah, extra motivation for sure in that area.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So whereabouts are you located in the US as well? And how are things in terms of, like, you know, is there any sort of lockdowns or anything like that going on? Because I see you got obviously the weights in the background. So I'm like, are you doing your workout
Yeah.
there, or are you going to the gym? Like, how's
Yeah.
it where you are?
So I'm in Indiana. The restrictions here, they're pretty strict. I would say where I'm at. So the weights started happening because there was a part, which a lot of people don't actually know either. When I was prepping for the Olympia, I couldn't go to the gym for the last 2 weeks. So I had to literally use like a home gym, little to no weights. Like, I did not have many weights at that time. I had a stationary bike, which you know, my coach wanted me to do Stairmaster, and I felt like the Stairmaster helps me bring in my condition a lot more. So it was a lot of body weight movements and just little to no weight. So um, my afterwards, I was like, you know, if this ever happens again, I'm going to be prepared. So we started started building a garage gym, which my wife, you can't see it, but this was the half that my car was parked in, and then right here is, right in front of me is my wife's car. She's like, look, it's cold. I'm not about to always warm my car up in the morning, so you can put it where your car. So I'm slow. She said, she even makes the comment like, "Oh, my car slowly getting pushed out, isn't it?" So, but yeah. I got a few weights and all that stuff, still building a little bit more, and that's also helped with the business that I have. So, with Campus Muscle, where I can start bringing people in and training them and local athletes here where I'm at. So, yeah, I think after Florida, because they're not as strict with the COVID,
Yeah.
with the situation, they're not strict. So my wife and I are like, hey, let's move down there. You know, it's beautiful. It's not cold. So yeah, a lot. This where the weights are started coming from.
Yeah. Well, it seems like Florida is becoming more of a bodybuilding destination. Obviously, with the New York Pro being moved there for this year once again, it seems like it's probably going to be a lot of contests down there in Florida, man. So if there's any time to move, now's the time. So
It's right. Exactly.
definitely the time to move. But 2021, what are the goals? Like, do you have set out goals where, okay, I want to go into a pro show and win it? Is it the New York Pro? Is it another pro show? And where do you have, I suppose, a placing in the Olympia where you want to place, or a look that you want to bring?
So as far as shows, I've mentioned a few to my coach. And I'm one of those guys that you speak it, and you work hard for it, it's going to happen. So my goal is to just do what I did last year and hop on to the pro show, my first the pro show this down the road, qualify, and then head into the Olympia. I would love to go and experience competing at the Arnold, and then Olympia. But it's looking like, and somebody actually asked this in my live video, if I'm going to try to go for my title again with Tampa Pro. And that's one of the shows that I've looked into. Chicago Pro, with that being only 3 hours away from here, was another one that I've kind of thought about. So I would love to just go into a pro show this year, qualify, and then focus on the bigger stage without, like you mentioned, I have a family, so I can't constantly, do all these shows, which I would love to do show after show after show. But my wife, she's just like, I don't like all of that. Let's try to do the least amount of shows possible and then go to the Olympia. So we'll see how this year plays out. Definitely want to bring a tighter package. The judge that I had got feedback from the judges. So work on my lower back. They said get harder and build my lat. So that's my off-season goals. And then, once we prep for these shows this year, just get tighter and just bring a more complete package overall. That's would place us in a top 5. So.
Yeah, it's almost like when you've got obviously that weight cap as well, it's almost like you've got to just add a little bit of muscle here and there and just come in tighter just so you can actually add that little bit of muscle. It's almost like you're sculpting a big time at that sort of stage, because in the opens, it feels like there's always more muscle you can sort of add a lot of the time, unless you're a big army or something like that. But in Classic Physique, it's about, okay, well, I don't need to focus on this too much. I need to add a little bit more rear delt or a little bit more lower lat or whatever, So it's really like a fine art, I suppose, when you're trying to stay in that weight cap. Now, would you ever move to open pro men's bodybuilding? Is that something in the future at all, or is it going to be 100% classic forever?
It's 100% classic. And yeah, and there's reasons. It's 100% classic.
Yeah, for sure. Now, obviously, the question that probably a lot of people are wanting to know, or a lot of people, the reason your name has come up a lot recently is more plates, more dates. Did a video and it was discussing how that, it's come out that maybe you're the guy that is the top 10 Classic Physique guy that's actually natural out there. So I wanted to ask you about that whole situation, because it was said that Terrence Ruffin actually put on his story saying there's a guy in the top 10 that's actually natural, believe it or not. And then it came out somehow that maybe it's you. So do you want to, I suppose, address that and address the rumors that are going around right now? Because you're getting asked a lot.
Yeah. So let's address it. And so I kind of figured this topic would come up. So how this whole situation even came about was John Meadows, who I'm sponsored by, and I was doing a workout with him last year. A while ago, he had made a video talking about making it or becoming pro naturally, and is it possible, and something like that. And I made a comment on the video, how I became a pro naturally. And he responded with, he didn't even know me then. And he was like, oh, good job, or something like that. Like, yeah, whatever. So, and I'm just like, oh, okay, thank you, John. So we ended up doing the video together, working out together and making a video together last year. And I mentioned to him, and I kind of like wanted to mention like, hey, you just kind of blew me off too. John's a great guy. I love John. So I mentioned how, my comment to him or whatever, and how I became pro naturally. And Rough Diesel, he actually works with John. So I never knew this. I never, I didn't say this to John to make him go shout it out to the world or tell everybody or whatever. I just, just having a one-on-one conversation with John, and then he must have told Rough Diesel what I had, mentioned to him. And I don't even really know. Somebody sent me the screenshot of Rough Diesel saying that. And I'm not even sure how it came about. He must have started telling people who it was. And then I had a few people messaging me, and I ignored them or whatever. And then next thing you know, that YouTube video came out with who is this guy, So which I thought was pretty funny. I'm just laughing and I'm watching everything, I'm not commenting.
So did you see that first video before the second one came out saying that it was actually you and go, oh, is this going to come out or not? Did you see the initial video?
I saw, so when he was going down, are you talking about when he was going down with each competitor?
Yep.
Yeah. I saw that video. Somebody sent me the link. It was like, hey, you're in this video. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then I went and checked it out and just kind of laughed at it or whatever. And he said his comments about me or whatever. Never knew that it was going to even go further. So I guess another video's come out, and I'm not sure how many more videos are going to come out after this. But I think it's just interesting how many people are just continue to blow me up and ask me. And so my response to this has been, if I told you I was natural, would you believe me?
Me personally?
I've asked, no.
Okay.
This is me. I don't know what I already know everybody's answer to that question when I ask them that. And I'll leave this on this note. I'm not even doing anything to reach my potential. And that's something that he had said in the video. He's like, why wouldn't you, try to reach your full potential and all of that? Well, yeah, I just leave it right there. I'm not even pushing to reach my full potential, which I know I can. And I've had this conversation so many times with, family members and people I know in the industry. So I just leave it at that. If you guys, if I told you I was natural, would you believe me? You answer it for yourself. So
yeah, you can let us know in the comments, and I'm sure, man, like people are still going to blow you up. And we actually talked about this in the interview as well, because it's one of those things where if you came out and said, I'm natural, or I'm doing very little, or whatever might be the situation, because I didn't even ask you personally because it's none of my business, you were going to get blowback straight up. You might get a few fans, but you're going to get blowback. And then if you say, oh, yeah, I'm not natural, be like, oh, okay, well, yeah. It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, man.
Exactly. And I actually watched a video talking about somebody talking about that in a different aspect of, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. People are going to talk about you whether you're doing great or if you're not, So it doesn't matter what my answer is, honestly. I mean, yeah, people are curious as to, my situation, but it's first off, it's none of the business. Second of all, like you said, if I said I'm completely natural, people are going to blow me up and say, you're a liar, you're this. I actually had someone in my live video the other day, and it's going to constantly happen. Now, if I did say, yeah, I take a little bit, I take this or whatever, people are like, I knew it or whatever, and just have their negative reactions to it or whatever, But at the end of the day, it doesn't bother me what's, everybody else's opinion. And I'm completely happy with that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting with the Classic Physique as well, because there's obviously guys in the Classic Physique, like you saying basically that you did turn pro natural, because you did obviously say that. Can we confirm that?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, cool. So when did you turn pro, actually?
In 2017. So what's funny is, and people might have, I don't know, everybody has different comments for everything, but I actually did the Team U, in which was my category was tested, and just barely got my pro card there. And I believe it was 2 or 3 months after that, ended up doing North American and won my pro card. So I kind of go back to that when I say, hey, I got tested at the show. I had a pee in a cup right after, and I got tested at the show, then turned around and then won my pro card. I mean, Now, like I said, people can start saying their little comments with that as well. Like, oh, you could have jumped on something right away, or, you know, but, and if you go back and look at those pictures, I looked great at my test to show. Then, you know, of course, with prepping a little bit longer, we came in a little bit, you know, more aesthetic and just diced to win that pro show. So yeah, that was in North Americans 2017. Just barely won overall. Seth Shaw won overall at that show, and I got second overall.
Oh yeah, awesome, cool. Well, I'll pop those photos up on the screen. I'm sure you got some out there from that show.
Yep.
Awesome. I'll pop those up on the screen at least. People would have seen them already by now. They can make their own judgments and let us know in the comments what you guys think. So I'm sure this is going to blow up, and this interview is probably going to be analyzed by more plates, more dates, and who knows who else, man. But hopefully at least people have actually heard what you want to say about it, and they can take their own opinion from that. But man, what I've got from this interview is that you're a good dude. You're a guy that, you know, I want to see in the sport more, and I want to see more from you, man. I want to see more of you on YouTube and stuff like that, because more positive guys like you in the sport, I think, are only going to do good things for bodybuilding. So I love to see it, man. But do you want to thank any sponsors or thank anyone before we wrap up this interview?
Yeah, first off, I want to say glory to God in the highest, man. None of this would be happening without him. I want to thank John Meadows and Granite Supplements for just being there for me. John is such a great guy. I love Granite Supplements products. TCP Mills, my new sponsor for meal prep. Who else? Thank you, Mom. No, I was playing. But yeah, that's who else? I can't really think on top of my head. Of course, Cement Factory, AJ, love you, man, and I appreciate everything you continue to do for me. And make sure you guys go check out my brand, Campus Muscle. I have a YouTube page that it's not great content because it's my iPhone, but we're gonna upgrade.
Man, actually, I checked it out just before we interviewed because I had a few minutes, man, and it's actually decent content. You just need some more like catchy thumbnails and stuff like that for the images, and people will start clicking on that stuff. So man, I want to see more of that stuff, because the stuff you shoot is, you know, like I see a lot of top guys with big YouTube channels just shooting off their iPhone. So I wouldn't even worry about that, man. I would just up the thumbnail game. I think that's the only reason.
Yeah, for sure. I've had somebody at this YouTube page that I follow talk about thumbnails, and I never realized how big that is, for clicks or whatever. But yeah, not to get into, I can talk all day. I have to go train here soon, but thanks for everybody who follows me and supports me on this journey. And as I always say on my videos, let's continue to motivate each other. You guys keep on giving me feedback and pushing me, and I'll be doing the same. So yeah.
Awesome. Deontrai, thank you so much for coming on Desktop Bodybuilding. The link to your YouTube channel and your Instagram are going to be in the description below. So guys, make sure you check out that, subscribe to his channel, also check him out and follow him on Instagram as well. So that's Deontrai Campbell, top 10 Classic Physique Mr. Olympia in 2020 and IFBB Pro Contest winner at that Tampa Pro. Deontrai Campbell and Xavier Wills, we are out.
Peace.